Well, game two pretty much went the way that most of us expected. I'm sorry, Toronto Raptors fans. I mean, you're supposed to root for your team. That's what you're supposed to do, man. But this is the most lopsided conference finals I can think of in recent memory. Um, Cleveland won the game 108-89. In fact, I'm hard pressed to even think of a quarter in this series so far that Toronto has outscored Cleveland. Maybe they have. I can't think of one. Um, Cleveland went up 2-0 in this best of seven series, and the scene shifts to Toronto to be played Saturday night. But this series is effectively over to me, man. I mean, I'm not an analyst. I don't get paid to do this shit. Analysts can't go on television and pretty much say that shit. But I mean, the series is over. So I'm thinking more along the lines of, who will Cleveland play in the finals? Like Golden State won game two. They probably would have won the game anyway, but they got help from the officials. That's all I was saying. No, the game wasn't totally rigged, but they got help from the officials in game three. You know what I'm saying? Like they cushioned, they pushed Golden State along to take what was a 10, 11 point lead and blow it up to almost 30 with certain calls. Offensive calls that weren't offensive calls, offensive foul calls that weren't offensive foul calls, and ticky-tack foul calls, and putting fouls on certain guys and putting certain people to the foul line. I mean, it's just a science shit, man. But LeBron James recorded a triple-double. He passed Shaquille O'Neal for fourth all-time in playoff scoring. He trails only Kobe Bryant at number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at number 2, and Michael Jordan number 1. And due to the sheer amount of games that LeBron James has played and probably will play because of how weak the Eastern Conference is, he will probably pass Michael Jordan sometime next season. So get ready for that. Kyrie Irving had 26 points. James had 19. Not James, excuse me. Love had 19 points for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think Tristan Thompson had 9 points and I think something like 10 rebounds. Now, for Toronto Raptors, for them to have a chance at winning a game, they have to have DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry both working on all cylinders for them to have a chance to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And of course, that did not happen yet again, mostly due to Lowry having a subpar game yet again. I think he only had 8 points on 4-14 shooting. Now, that's just not going to get it done. Like I said, I thought Toronto would still win a game in this series. I think they might do, but the way this series is going, the way Cleveland's rolling, I think they're going to sweep this team. I think they're going to sweep Toronto, and we're just going to have a long layoff from the end of the Eastern Conference Finals to the NBA Finals. That's the way I'm seeing things. Because I think that Golden State OKC series could go 7. This series, I think, is going to go 4. I could be wrong, but other things of note that I've read, Tyronn Lue has tied Pat Riley for the best starting post playoff record for a coach at 10-0, tying Pat Riley's streak going into the 1982 playoffs. Well, he started off 10-0. Also, Cleveland at 10-0 are just one game behind. If my memory serves me correct, they're just one game behind the 1989 Los Angeles Lakers and the 2001 Lakers for the best start in postseason history. Both teams start 11-0. That Laker team, the 1989 Lakers, was 11-0 in the playoffs when they went to the finals, when they lost Byron Scott and then lost Magic Johnson in Game 2, and effectively the series was over with. And they got swept themselves by the Detroit Pistons. The 2001 Lakers stayed healthy, and they started 11-0. and their first loss was the game one of the game one of the 2001 finals to Philly, an overtime game where AI had 48, and then they subsequently won 4 straight games against. They went 15-1 in the postseason. I seriously doubt whether Cleveland will sweep the postseason. Matter of fact, there's no guarantee they're going to win a title. But the way they're playing right now, they're definitely the best team in the postseason right now. They're definitely the best team. Whether or not they could beat Golden State, I don't know. Whether they can beat OKC, probably I'd say, but you never know. But right now, and it's hard because it's hard to measure Cleveland because of the level of competition they're playing. But they're blowing teams out, and they're not. And it looks almost like sometimes they're taking it easy at certain intervals of the game. So I don't know, but LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, Shannon Fry, Shumpert, J.R. Smith, all these guys look like the way they're playing right now, they might be measuring themselves for a ring and end Cleveland's misery after 52 years the way things are going right now. I mean, because Golden State doesn't look quite like the same team that they did during regular season. Could be just because they're playing a higher level of opponent now. I don't know, but tell me what you guys think.